Hey everyone, in my last video where I fixed some bad music production and mixing advice about high-pass filters, basically just addressing a bunch of myths and misconceptions, I shared a quick audio test. I asked the audience to tell me which part, A or B of a mix, had a high-pass filter engaged, and then also to leave a comment explaining why they thought so. Now my plan was to just release the results or answers on the community tab, but that video sort of blew up. It got a lot more views and comments than I expected, so I thought it'd be better to just address it in a quick video here. Now, of course, I'd love for you to go watch that video, but I will repeat the test here for anyone that missed it. What I asked the audience was which section, A or B, has the high-pass filter engaged. Many people shared incredibly detailed comments and messages explaining why they thought A or B was high-passed, really digging into what they were hearing. The reasons ranged sort of all over the place, from a difference in the transient attack, some sort of phase smearing or audible phase shift, people saying they could hear a clear difference in the sub-bass or lack of sub-bass in either A or B. Surprisingly, many people commented on the stereo width, and I also had many comments saying they didn't hear a difference in the bass, but the mids and treble were clearly changed either in A or B, depending on that filter. So this test clearly got a lot of people listening in very closely, really trying to pay attention and pick out the details between the two examples. And while I had everyone focused on A or B, what was actually going on was a bit different. I had the filter engage and disengage 4 times in both examples, so A and B both had the high pass engaged and bypassed. And no one seemed to notice this, including me. If you prime a question, such as A and B or before and after, it just already gets our brains working to find a difference between the two, even if there isn't, and this is just how we all work. It's a well-known phenomenon, and it's why I can't even pick out the high-pass filter when I know when it's being engaged. If I look at it being engaged, I feel like I can hear the difference or something, but I'm certain it's just my brain tricking me. I did say there was a prize up for grabs, so I've selected 3 people, one who chose A, B, and then someone who couldn't tell the difference. I've contacted them and I'll set you up with a copy of my plugin and both of my preset packs. This example, at least for me, shows that this topic of high passing and worrying about whether it's going to give you headroom, spike the audio, cut out your sub bass, cause some huge audible phase shift. For me, this has completely sort of put the final nail in the coffin. Over 100,000 people heard the audio example. No one noticed that a high-pass filter was being turned on and off all the time, and this is people listening on all sorts of systems. People were commenting about how large their subwoofers were, how special their headphones were, and nobody noticed that that was what was going on. However, there's something I noticed that a few FL Studio users brought to me, which is that people are loading this preset on every master chain that just indiscriminately cuts out the low and highs, and I would definitely advise not to just slap that preset on and cut things out indiscriminately for no reason, especially if there isn't any excess lows or highs. But that's really relevant only to FL Studio users. I've got some info in the description as to why I would personally stay away from that preset. And finally, of course, now that I've revealed the results or the answer, there will be some people who said that's what they heard all along, or go back and edit their comment on that video, but that doesn't change anything. You can easily see when someone's edited their comment. I actually do it all the time when I've got things to update or whatnots, but going back and changing your answer, I'm not worried about that. So that's everything for today, but please do let me know whether there's any topics or audio myths or misconceptions you want me to cover in future videos. I've got loads of much more exciting and interesting topics that I want to cover in the future. So thank you once again to everyone that took part, everyone that watched, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.